Hello there. So I'm gonna do a little Roblox game dev vlog here. It's been a while, and I am sort of planning to do some World War II stuff, like Omaha Beach, D-Day kind of stuff to start. Now it's not set in stone. We might decide to do something different. I'm open to that. However, my reason for being interested here is sort of, well, let me go back a bit. When I first started doing Roblox stuff, which was probably December of last year, the first thing I was interested in was various weapons, rocket launchers, shooting rocket launchers at each other. That was fun in the beginning. And, because there's these weapons that are in the toolbox with Roblox. And so I was just playing around with those, having some fun. I mean, some of it was really fun. However, for people who have played a lot of Roblox, I think that they've, been there, done that. They've seen these kinds of weapons been used before. By the way, just full disclosure, this is basically a model from the toolbox. Is that what it's called? The toolbox? Yes. So this is not my stuff. And everything has to be like redone from the ground up, because for one thing, this is not nearly big enough for what I have in mind. Okay, so going back, yeah, so the way I think of it is that I kind of had to get it out of my system, just playing around with the weapons that are built in, playing around with just simple games where you kind of just have rocket launchers and machine guns and you shoot each other, and it's all kind of fun. It was fun for me anyway. So I think, okay, I had to get that out of my system. Then I started working on some other stuff, which I think what I had in mind was like an RPG kind of game. But the thing is, I keep coming back, at least in my head, I keep coming back to weapons and war and this kind of stuff. Now, I don't necessarily think it's the best for Roblox, because my experience, doing some sponsored experiences and having a bunch of players come in, basically, normally most of them are probably pretty young, and they're probably on cell phones or tablets. Now, you can set the advertisement so that, well, it's a sponsored experience, but I'll just call it an ad. You can set it so that you're targeting certain ages, and also computer users, for example. However, and let's just jump in here and see what's up. I'll put a thing down here somewhere. Where's the other one? Oh, okay, it's there. That's okay too. So people are coming in. Okay. They're using cell phones or tablets. I'm walking way too fast, but okay, let's change that. And game settings, world. Let's set 40. I still want to walk pretty fast, just because I'm exploring. So you can set it, for example, to focus on computer users, okay? But the thing is that to get users, the ads or sponsored experiences, they will be much, much more expensive per user, per play, I guess. So that's been my experience. It's not really surprising. Basically, I would expect that a 16-year-old kid on a computer maybe is going to spend more in Robux than a 9-year-old on a tablet. Of course, there could be exceptions to that, like, actually, tablets do a lot better than cell phones in terms of monetization. So that also costs a lot more if you want to focus on tablets. But anyway, so cell phones, let's say. I don't know. Maybe some kids are getting Robux from their family for a birthday present or who knows what. Or maybe they have the monthly thing. So I'm not really sure. But basically, I don't think it would be surprising that people on a cell phone are paying a lot less Robux than people on a computer in general. So I think that's the way it is. I think that's why computer users cost a lot more to get in your game. And so if you want to succeed on Roblox, I mean, there's all kinds of ways, and you know, obviously there's games that are focused on computer users, and I'm sure there's very successful ones. I'm just saying it might be a lot easier to succeed by focusing on cell phone users. Okay, but anyway, that said, this is something I find myself coming back to, the idea of having weapons, and there's no weapons right now. But actually there's elsewhere on the map, you know, I was playing around with stuff. But I find myself coming back to weapons and possibly war. So when I was a kid, like middle school, early high school, I had the movie Saving Private Ryan, so we used to watch that. It's pretty violent, okay? It's not for little kids, and maybe I shouldn't have been watching it at the age that I was, but my friends and I, we'd get together and watch that sometimes. Sometimes on a weekend, we'd stay up all night playing games or whatever, and then watch the movie, that kind of thing. They were good times, but anyway, so you have this assault on Omaha Beach, which is super deadly. But long story short, I just find myself coming back to, let's see if, oh, we can, yeah, but this is not working very well, is it? It's pointing at me. What the heck is going on here? Maybe it's meant for a first person. But actually, a lot of stuff in the toolbox was built before the avatars became this R16 or whatever. Is it R6? The old school style, so that broke a lot of stuff. Anyway. Oh yeah, so I was going to talk about the weapons. The weapons are super fascinating. So, for example, there's a Thompson machine gun. So allied stuff, there's Thompson SMG, which looks like this. So if you've played World War II games, you've probably seen a lot of this stuff. I just realized you don't have the desktop audio. Sorry about that, but whatever. So you've got this, and there's also, let's see, there's the kind of the default. So like Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, I think, has this, at least in the Omaha Beach assault, I think. And then you have, is it the Garand M1? I'm not, yeah, Garand M1. So this is sort of the default rifle for the privates, I believe, for the Allied side, or at least the American side. And it's got semi-automatic rate of fire, so you have to click each time. Well, click each time. You got to pull the trigger each time. And so you can't hold it down, right? And so when the magazine would run out, you have this very distinctive sound, like this ching sound. And I was listening to this veteran of the Korean War. He was saying that the enemy learned about, you know, figured this out, and they would wait to hear that ching, because that meant you were out of bullets, you had to reload. And so they would wait for that sound before they stood up, or before they decided to charge, or whatever they were going to do. Now, I imagine a similar thing might have happened in World War II. But there are, of course, other weapons as well. The Thompson SMG, and then the BAR. So these are the Allied weapons. The Browning automatic rifle is the sort of the American machine gun. And this got used in the Korean War. I mean, the Korean War had, the Americans had roughly the same guns, I think, as World War II. It's just 5 years later. But I think this saw action in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. So, yeah, the thing about these, I mean, you might think, like, obviously you would want a submachine gun or a machine gun. By the way, this is the same, the Thompson submachine gun is the Tommy gun. So you see this, this round, what's it called? I'm blanking, but this magazine is it's not this stick, it's this drum, okay? And this drum holds a lot more bullets, can hold like 50 to 100. You can get a big fat one. But, and early on in the war, I think the British were using this drum one a bit. So it looks like a Tommy gun. It is a Tommy gun. The Tommy is in reference to the Thompson thing. And so, so you could see like the British having this early in the war. However, there are many reasons why this was kind of inconvenient. Even though the stick, like on D-Day, my understanding is this stick magazine would hold 20 bullets. So 20 bullets, and it takes about 2 seconds to fire all those bullets. So it's not like a typical video game, right? Like you hold down the mouse for 2 seconds and you got to reload. So some games are kind of realistic like that, but usually not. So then, yeah, so you have this drum. So the reason they stopped doing that too much in World War II was that one thing, these are heavy and more expensive, kind of cumbersome to carry and all that, and deal with and reload, harder to reload, less convenient. But another big reason is the noise, apparently. So they described it as that or one person described it that it sounds like banging marbles in a tin can. So for various reasons, they stopped using these big drums. So they went to the stick, where I guess you have like 20 to 30 bullets. But I think on D-Day it was about 20. And okay, so that's the Tommy gun. So you might think, yeah, that you'd obviously want a submachine gun or a bar machine gun. Automatic, was it called the automatic rifle? Yeah. But like I said, they run out of bullets so fast. So the M1 Garand might be better for picking off enemy soldiers and all that. And there was sort of the sniper rifle, if you will, A4. It's not, so it wasn't. The sniper rifles in World War II, they weren't really built as sniper rifles, is my understanding. They just took the rifles, other rifles that were well built, and the ones that were particularly accurate, and then they equipped it with a scope and that kind of thing. So they weren't specifically building it for to be a sniper rifle. But here's, yeah, the M1903 A4 sniper rifle. This is, so in Saving Private Ryan also, this Private Jackson has a sniper rifle, though there's some mistakes with, it has the wrong scope on it. You see it has like a fancier looking scope. And like kind of like the scope you see here. But it would have been more like this on the left or this one. Okay. Anyway, and then you have I'm learning about some of the Axis weapons. You've got the 44, MG44, which is a beast, absolute beast. Oh wait, I was actually thinking of a different one. No, this one. They're showing other weapons like the STG-44. And I'm thinking of doing some 3D modeling, and the STG-44 might be a good first one to look at. Just to try to model, because it looks really cool. Like there too. So you see this in a lot of games, of course. And but that's not, I'm looking for the MG44. Maybe it was 42. Probably is MG42 actually. Yeah. So this beastly looking thing, and look at that. It's crazy. And extremely well designed. The current machine gun that the Germans use in their military today, I guess, is quite similar to this. Only a few changes, is my understanding. And this weapon, again, in Saving Private Ryan, you can see the Germans using it. It's just quite a beast. Anyway, so I won't go on about all the different weapons, but probably for my game, each side I want to have a handful of these different weapons. But yeah, and so people have nicely applied for the role of, well, I'm looking to get help and to compensate about $100 a month. Well, I said $100 a month. And yeah, so some people have applied and I'm very happy about that. Probably within 1 to 3 weeks, I'm going to finalize my decision there. And so I'm not sure if people have experience with Blender, and if they don't, that's fine. I'm not really, like, I've seen people's work that is very impressive, and I don't really want to interfere with how they do things. And I think learning Blender is a huge can of worms. It's a big, steep learning curve, quite the rabbit hole. And so if they're not used to that, I don't necessarily want to ask them to learn it. We'll see, maybe in the future. But I've spent a lot of time with Blender, so I'm thinking of having a go at modeling these guns. That's what I'm thinking of. Of course, it'll take some time, but I think it'll be enjoyable. And that's it. I mean, there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of World War II games out there. There's the Call of Duty things. There's War Thunder. War Thunder, I think, only has vehicles and tanks and stuff like that, right? So I'm kind of interested in it, but it's missing the infantry side of things. And then you have Call of Duty. I don't really like the gameplay. To me, Call of Duty is more, it's sort of, it's like watching a movie, kind of. In the past, I've been quite bored from a gameplay point of view. But I haven't really tried. There's the Call of Duty World War II, which was from a few years ago. And then there's Call of Duty Vanguard, which is more recent. So I might be trying these. But in my experience and looking at videos, I'm not really excited. I think it's going to be boring. One of the things I don't like is, like, they often have a D-Day Omaha Beach kind of thing. And there's all kinds of chaos. But yeah, I watched the video. I think it was Vanguard. I don't want to talk too much about it, but there's a lot of things I don't like. Now, there's this other game called Hell. I think it's called Hell Let Loose. And I believe I installed it the other day. I definitely purchased it. And so I'm going to be playing that. That might be actually a really good game that I respect a lot. But anyway, and I'm sure there's many sort of D-Day games in Roblox. And I don't want to limit myself to D-Day, but at first maybe start with D-Day and then look at other things. But I'm sure there's a lot of games. However, I kind of don't want to look at them because they will, like, have a big effect on my thinking in terms of what I'm imagining building, what I want the gameplay to look like, and also might be discouraging. Like, if there's some really good ones, I might be like, oh, well, I can't compete with them. So I'd rather just not know about them, at least for the first maybe 100 to 300 hours of work on this project. And once once the ball is really rolling and we've got a good idea of what we're doing, then I might look, at some point I will look at what the others are doing. But for now, I don't even want to know about it, honestly. Yeah, and like I said, this is just what I'm thinking right now. But depending on the people who are interested in helping, which that's still open, by the way. I was thinking of putting a deadline on it, but if things go well, I might be looking to grow the team. So, it's kind of like this, we're going to have this first round, and then in the future, I might be looking to add people. If we're actually successful and start getting a lot of Robux coming in, then I really hope to increase the compensation for people. So I feel bad that I can't compensate more. But on the other hand, you know, a lot of people have offered help for free, and I've allowed people to help a bit, but I haven't really jumped on it because I'd rather compensate people for their work, and if I can, you know, even though it's not a lot. But like I said, I'd really like to increase that compensation, but I think we need to have some success first, have some Robux flowing in. And so yeah, if things go well, might be looking to grow the team also. So that's why I haven't really put a deadline on it. But I should be deciding soon for the first round of who I'd like to work with, if they're still interested. So I'm looking forward to that. And depending on them, we don't have to do this idea at all. Like I said, I don't think that it's the best way to succeed on Roblox. So I'm definitely open to other ideas. And actually, I think we should keep sort of what's the word? Well, continue like coming up with ideas, you know, keep a kind of a list or something of ideas. And anyway, so yeah, we might not do this at all, but this is just what I'm thinking for now. I keep coming back to weapons and the idea of combat, so sort of a passion project. I've been watching, at night I watch a lot of videos of veterans talking, and I've been researching about the weapons and that kind of stuff, so sort of a passion project, so I figure maybe it's a good idea to work on it. Anyway, so like I said, this model here, I think I'd like things to be like a good maybe 10 times bigger or something. One of the problems is that when you make a big complicated map, the bigger and the more complicated the map, the more stuff there is, the slower it all loads in. Well, it loads at the same speed, but it takes longer to get the whole map in there. So if you build a huge map, like you might start over here by these ships, and then it'll take a while for these pillboxes to appear. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, for combat they're kind of at a good distance, but I don't know. Yeah, so it has to be something we think about a lot. But yeah, I don't know. A lot to think about, a lot to discuss. So it's really at the very early stages, just planning at this point. And I kind of want to have a plan before we start. We start with the serious stuff that I'm going to compensate for. Even if that plan is to just experiment for a few months and just build things that we think are cool. Like that's a perfectly good plan for the first few months. So that's an option too. Anyway, I don't want to keep you too long. Just sort of what I'm thinking. By the way, Roblox released a new template for of like a FPS game. I haven't tried it, but I'm planning to make a video where I just do my first impressions first, and then maybe make a video where I dive in, if there's a bunch of code or something, dive into it, play around, maybe a couple videos. Kind of depends on how fun it is, and if it's totally not fun, I won't even release any video about it. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned, and if you enjoy my content, remember to leave a like, and let me know what you think in the comments if you feel so inclined. Thank you. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.